Hello my dear 10th class students, I welcome you to NEET World. So in this session, we will be discussing chapter number 2, that is acids, bases and salts, and this is lecture number 4. Okay, so in the previous lectures, we have covered up to acid-base theories. So what are the acid-base theories we have? Arrhenius acid-base theory, the next Lewis acid-base theory, the next Bronsted acid-base theory. These are the three main acid-base theories we need to focus in our classes, right? Yes, we did that, and also we have seen some applications also. So in this particular session, we will be discussing about how these acids are further classified, okay, and how the bases are further classified. So what are the other factors we have to look into it. So these things we will be studying here, okay, and how can we express the concentration or how can we express the strength of a particular acid. These things we will be looking in this particular session, okay. So first one is what, like how can we give this, whether a given acid will be having more acidic strength or less acidic strength, okay. So now the acids are classified into two types, one are strong acids, other one is weak acids. So how can we decide or how can we classify this? Depending upon the degree of dissociation. So what do we mean by degree of dissociation? I will explain. Degree of dissociation, acids are classified into two types, one is strong, other one is weak. Similarly, bases are also classified into strong bases and weak bases, okay. Now what exactly degree of dissociation? For example, I have an acid, let us say HA is an acid. Now it will dissociate like this. Since acid means it has to release H plus ions in the aqueous medium, right? Okay, so whenever we place this acid in the aqueous medium, it will release as H plus ion and forms an anionic part, that is A minus, let us consider, okay. Since it is releasing H plus ions, I can say this particular species as acidic species, right? Hope it is clear. Now, if the dissociation, this dissociation, degree of separation, I can say dissociation takes place 100%. So complete ionization takes place. So completely whatever the acid is given, that should ionize completely in the water. Then we can say that particular acid has strong acids. Okay, what are the examples we have? HCl is a strong acid, HNO3 is a strong acid, and sulfuric acid is also strong acid. These are the best examples we have. Okay, so whenever we are saying strong acids, okay, here I am using a generalized word, strong electrolyte. Whenever we are saying a strong electrolyte, so we need to indicate arrow with this. It means it will completely dissociate, completely ionizes in the aqueous medium. See, one electrolyte example I will be telling you is NaCl. So this NaCl salt upon placed in the water, what happens in the water? It will ionizes like Na plus and Cl minus, right? So complete ionization taking place. So we need to indicate with this complete arrow mark, okay. So now, so same story applicable for weak, strong bases also. This is about strong acids, this is strong electrolyte, and the next one I am saying one more word, strong base. So strong base, give one example, NaOH we have now. Here also when we place this base in the water, the aqueous medium, how it will dissociate? Na plus and OH minus. Okay, so this kind of dissociation takes place in the case of strong electrolyte. See, all strong acids, all strong bases can be considered to be the examples of strong electrolytes. Hope it is clear. Now let us understand what exactly weak acids, weak bases, and in more clear terms, what are weak electrolytes. Here again, depending upon the degree of dissociation. See, again I am taking same, let us say HA is an acid. Now this acid I am saying it is a weak acid. In the previous case I told you it is a strong acid. Now let us consider it is a weak acid, okay. So in this weak acid case, now the degree of dissociation, let us say this is HA1 and we got A1 anion, this is HA2, okay. So now in this case what happens? See, so it will also releasing H plus ion, that is fine, okay, and along with that we have A2, that is anion minus, okay. Now what you need to understand, see, I have told you that this whenever we place in the water, aqueous medium, it will dissociates like this. So but after dissociation what happens, you know, this whatever the dissociate ions are there, they will recombine to form the initial species like this. Okay, reversibility, reaction takes backward also. Okay, to some extent they will undergo dissociation. Again dissociated ions will recombine to form the initial substance. Okay, so this is what the scene happens in the case of weak electrolytes like weak acids, weak bases, I can say weak electrolytes. Okay, so the partial ionization or partial dissociation takes place in the weak acids and weak bases cases. Okay, so now here acetic acid is the best example for weak acid. See, acetic acid, these are organic acids like acetic acid or formic acid, these are what? Organic acid. Generally organic acids are weak acids and inorganic acid are strong acids. Examples for inorganic acid like HCl, H2SO4, HNO3 are the examples for inorganic acid, whereas say acetic acid, formic acid, these are what? Benzoic acid, all these are what? Weak acid which are organic acids. Hope it is clear. Next, let us understand what is the degree of dissociation. So it is a ratio of initial number of moles taken, number of moles taken initially. If I talking about acid, so initial number of moles of acids taken initially, that should be taken in the denominator, and number of moles dissociated. So if we take 10 moles, out of these 10 moles, if we take like HA is an acid, okay, let us say how many moles I have taken this HA acid? 10 moles, let us say. If all these 10 moles are undergone dissociation and forms H plus and A minus, this dissociation taking place, let us say all these 10 moles are converted into its respective ions. So now what I can say, number of moles taken initially, how many? Number of moles taken initially are 10. So how many undergone this dissociation? All the 10 molecules or all the 10 moles are taking part in the complete dissociation. No? So 10 by 10. So this will be giving us 1. The degree of dissociation indicated with alpha symbol, it is 1. Okay. So now I can say this HA acid is a strong acid in this case. Okay. Sometimes what happens, this alpha value will be less than 1. Okay. It means the degree of dissociation is not taking place to the complete extent, only some partial amount of partial extent it is taking place. Okay. For strong acids and strong base, the degree of dissociation will be equals to how much? It will be almost equals to 1. Okay. But for weak electrolytes, let us say the degree of dissociation will be less than 100 only. I mean less than 1 I can say 100%, instead of saying 100% I can say 1. Okay. So now let us say this HB acid I have. So now this is undergoing dissociation to form H plus and B minus in the aqueous medium. So so what happened here is I have taken 10 moles. Out of these 10 moles which I have taken initially, only 3 moles are participated in the dissociation. It means only 3 moles are undergone dissociation. It means, can I say only partial dissociation happened out of 10, only 3 are participated. Now I mean everything is participated, but degree of dissociation takes place completely only for 3 moles here. Okay, because after that 3 moles there is existing a equilibrium like this. It means whatever the dissociated ions are there now, they are recombining to form the initial acid again HB. It means only up to extent of 3 moles it is taking, after that for backward reaction is taking place and existing an equilibrium. So in this case degree of dissociation is how much? This is just 0.3. So I hope you got what exactly degree of dissociation here and how can we explain based on the degree of dissociation for strong acids and weak acids. Okay. Next, now we can also say acids are as concentrated acids and dilute acids. So look here, so concentrated and dilute acids here. Mixing acid with water reduces the concentration of H3O, I mean concentration of H3O plus, or I can say H plus ion per unit volume. Yes or no? Yes. Let us say I have a solution, I have an acidic solution. So in a container, let us say this is a beaker. So this beaker is 1 liter beaker, let us say, and 1 liter beaker. In this I have 1 mole of acid particles. How many moles? So I will explain you what is exactly 1 mole later, but remember this, whenever we are saying 1 molar HCl in the laboratory, if you go on and see any time in the laboratory, so you will be seeing 1 molar HCl or 2 molar HCl or 0.1 molar NaCl, something like this. So there will be something like molar term you will be hearing there. So what does it says? It means number of moles of that particular substance present in the 1 liter solution. That is what the molar indicates. Okay. Now let us say 1 mole of this acid particle HCl particles are present in this 1 liter solution. Okay. Now what I am doing is I am mixing it with water to make it 3 moles, I mean 3 liters. So initially we have 1 liter, I am making it 3 liter by adding 2 liter of water. I am mixing with 2 liter of water. So therefore now what happens, this same 1 mole particles, the same 1 mole HCl particles will be in the 3 liter vessel. It means what you are seeing, the number of acid particles per unit volume. Here let us say per unit volume, let us say 2 HCl particles are there. Now here what happens, due to increase in the volume, so that we cannot see these 2 HCl particles will not be observed here because its volume is increased. Volume is increased means particles move further, right? Therefore in per unit volume, if I consider, right, what happens, number of acid particles decreases. So that is what he is saying. So dilution means what, mixing of acid with the some amount of water. So therefore what happened, its concentration decreases, concentration reduced. Here we have in 1 liter we have 1 mole now, so I can say this is 1 molar solution. Here in 3 liters we have 1 mole, so it will be 1/3 molar solution, or I can say 0.33 molar solution. Initially it is 1 mole, now it is becoming 0.33 molar solution. So what do you understand, its concentration is reduced, right? So this process is called dilution. Hope it is clear what exactly dilution is also, right? So dilution means what, mixing of acid with water. Okay. So this is called dilution. Okay, and the resulting solution is called a dilute solution or dilute acid in the case of this acid. Hope it is clear. Now for weak acid, upon dilution more dissociation occurs. Okay, one thing you have to remember, for strong acids what we discussed, for strong acid and strong bases, the degree of dissociation is 100%, whether it is concentrated or dilute, it will be 100% taking place, right? There is no much difference. But in case of weak electrolytes, what happens, you know, so what happens means upon dilution. So for example, we have 1 molar acetic acid solution I have. So to this 1 molar acetic acid, I am diluting it to the, by adding 1 molar means 1 mole of acetic acid particles present in 1 liter. So by adding 9 liters of water, so I am making 10 liters of this particular solution. So it becomes, what it will become now, so 1/10, total volume is 10 now, right now. So now what happens, 1/10 means it is 0.1 molar acetic acid, it will become 0.1 molar acetic acid it become. So now in this case what happens, you know, the degree of dissociation upon dilution, the degree of dissociation of weak acids increases. So this is called Ostwald dilution principle. You will be studying it later, but remember the term Ostwald dilution principle. What, according to Ostwald dilution principle, see, upon dilution more dissociation occurs. It means whatever the acetic acid you have seen here, so that acetic acid will dissociate little more extent when we dilute it. Okay, when we dilute it, the degree of dissociation, this equilibrium will favors forward more extent than the backward, therefore degree of dissociation increases. Okay, that is what, more dissociation occurs. Okay, occurs and concentration of ions may increase, concentration of H plus ions may increase. Along with the concentration of H plus ion, we also increasing, what we are increasing, the volume of that particular container is also increasing by addition of water. No? So even with the dilution, concentration of H plus ion per unit volume decreases. So concentration of H plus ion is increasing and volume also increasing. But when we increase the volume, what happens? The per unit volume will be considered again. In the per unit volume, concentration that of H plus ions presence is relatively less. Therefore, resultant concentration decreases. Per unit volume, what happens? The resultant concentration decreases. That is what happens in the weak electrolyte. So in the case of weak acids, what I told you, the degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte increases by dilution. It means by adding water, degree of dissociation increases. This is fine, but the net resultant concentration decreases. Okay, why? Because here volume is dominating. Okay, you can remember this. Okay, so as volume increases, the concentration decreases. You can remember that. See, as volume increasing, concentration decreasing. This is a term you can remember. Okay, so in order to know more about this concentration terms and all, molarity I told you now, molar solution. So about this, see, you will be studying accurately about this in the upcoming classes. Now I will be giving you some small idea on this molarity, normality. Okay, just wait for some time, and remaining you will be studying later on in the other classes. Okay, I will only explain, and I have already made some videos for 11th standard students. Since you are 10th standard, so if you are really interested, you can go and watch that. If not, just hold on for a few days, I will explain later. Okay, for you. The heat produced during the, okay, once again, see, acids. So whenever to this acid, whenever we are mixing with water, acid we are mixing with water. So what happens is, it is a highly exothermic reaction. So you will be seeing some heat is produced during the process. The process of dissolving acid in water is highly exothermic. It means heat is released during this process. So here one important tip, and which is a very precautionary thing you need to follow whenever you are entering into the lab. See, whenever you are touching these acids, you need to follow this. Whenever you want to dilute an acid, always add acid to water slowly, but not in the reverse manner, but not vice versa. See, not water to the acid. So why? Because the acid is highly concentrated. So whenever you are adding water drop to it, what happens? You will be seeing a highly exothermic reaction. It will be giving very huge amount of temperature, heat is released. So due to that reason, that acid may split, okay, split on the person who is handling that, or it may break the container also. That acid container is there, that may also get break here. Okay, so now what we need to take? You need to take the water in a beaker. To that you add drop by drop acids, whatever the quantity you want, just add drop by drop quantity by using a stirrer. Proper stirring is required, stir continuously, and sudden addition can cause splashing or glass breakage. Okay, so this is why due to evolution of high exothermic reaction or heat, releasing of heat. So what it will cause is, it will be causing you very serious damages like serious burning and all. Okay, so this is what you need to keep in the mind. Next, now in order to express the concentration, we have like different terms. Let us understand these two terms. One is molarity and other one is normality. Okay, so molarity means what? Molarity means what I told you. It is a number of moles of solute, number of moles of that. In the case of, if we discuss about acid, number of moles of acid present in the 1 liter of volume of solution, or 1 liter of the solution. So in the denominator you need to take volume. Okay, that should be in liters. Okay, so then next here we have normality. So this normality is indicated with capital N. So capital N, so it is what? Number of gram equivalents of solute in a liter of solution. So number of gram equivalent of solute in 1 liter of solution. So this is the difference between these two. Now how can I link these two things, normality and molarity? Normality equals to, now I can write this gram equivalent number as normality, number of moles into its valency factor, I can say N factor. Okay, so now see, N by V means nothing but molarity and normality, which is molarity into N factor will give this normality. Okay, so what is this N factor? See, few acids releases 2 H plus ions. See, sulfuric acid releasing 2 H plus ions, right? So I can say the N factor for sulfuric acid is 2, whereas HCl releases only 1 H plus ion, 1 Cl minus. So how many H plus ions? 1 now. So N factor for HCl is 1. Hope it is clear how we are finding N factor and normality molarity relation also. This is a basic idea I just wanted to give you. Okay. So the next, when it comes to bases, number of OH minus ions released per one molecule of like base. Okay, NaOH releasing 1 now, so its N factor is 1, whereas BaOH twice, CaOH twice, these are releasing 2 OH minus now, so its N factor will be 2. Like that, depending upon number of H plus ions released by an acid, its N factor is defined. Similarly, in the case of bases, number of OH minus are released. Okay. Now dilution concept. So dilution concept is what? See, let us say here I have a container. So in this container, the volume of container, let us say V1, okay, and concentration of that particular solution is N1. Now to this, what we are mixing it with? We are mixing it with water. Let us say this solution is diluted. So by adding water, now the whatever the volume will be there now initially, that will be changes. So let us say V2 is the volume changed. Okay. Now total volume become, final volume become V2, let us say, and concentration, since volume increased means concentration also like changes, decreases generally. Okay. So it will become this is N1, so let us say this is N2. Okay. Now what is the relation between this final volume and final concentration with this initial concentration and initial volume? Just use this formula, N1 V1 equals to N2 V2. So this is called law of equivalence concept. We will be discussing this again in the upcoming topics. Okay. Next, so this is about activity. So activity based learning, you can have, see, mixing of acid in water is exothermic. Let us understand this. Okay. So actually we need to do this in the laboratory, but let us understand in the theoretical way. Okay. So for this purpose we required beaker, water and concentrated acid like HCl, HNO3, sulfuric acid, and a thermometer to measure the temperature change, and a glass rod for stirring that while doing the dilution. Okay. So procedure, take water in a beaker, then record the initial temperature of this water in the beaker, and the next add few drops of concentrated HCl and then note the temperature change. Yes, you can make this. Okay. And repeat the same experiment by using concentrated sulfuric acid, and next after that in the beaker again, in the third beaker you add to the water, check the measure the temperature, to that add this HNO3, concentrated HNO3. So you will be seeing in these three cases, beaker 1 case water plus HCl, okay, beaker 2 water plus sulfuric acid, beaker 3 water plus nitric acid. You will be seeing in all the cases, this is observation, you can see temperature rises in all the cases. Okay. So all the cases what happens, this acid ionizes in the water and releases heat due to its exothermic process. And the major observation you will be doing seeing here is sulfuric acid show maximum temperature rise due to being highly exothermic. So which will show maximum temperature rise? The sulfuric acid will show the maximum temperature rise. So you can consider this is because of high exothermic reaction of the sulfuric acid dissociation. Okay. So I hope it is clear. So conclusion is what? Dilution of acid in water is an exothermic process by observing these three reactions. See, heat is released in all the cases. So I can say all these are exothermic reactions only. Okay. So do you know what here? Rainwater conducts electricity because dissolved CO2 forms carbonic acid, and whereas distilled water does not conduct because it does not conduct as it lacks ions. See water, if I say pure water is a very weak electrolyte, it will dissociates like this H plus and OH minus. Okay. So actually this is a very poor conductor. Okay. And like in the distilled water, I mean say there is dissociation is very weak, won't take properly. Okay. So at 25 degrees Celsius we know dissociation of water is around 10 power minus 14, which is very the ionic product of water is 10 power minus 14. We will discuss about this later, how the pH scale is obtained from this. We will discuss about that in the upcoming sessions. Now since it is having very low dissociation, so it does not conduct electricity. due to lack of these ions. Whereas in the rainwater, see in the rainwater, whenever same water only na there also, but in the atmosphere we have different gases na. Let us say carbon dioxide is there. That carbon dioxide, okay, which is acidic oxide. Carbon dioxide is acidic oxide. How I am saying this acidic oxide? This oxide which is present in the atmosphere. So whenever these water droplets are interacting with this. Whenever this rainwater is interacting with this carbon dioxide, so it will form carbonic acid H2CO3, which is a weak acid now. So this weak acid will dissociate into H plus plus CO3 HCO3 minus. So these are the two ions are forming like this. Due to the dissociation, ions are existing, therefore this rainwater will show conductivity, okay, electrical conductivity, whereas distilled water won't show. Hope it is clear. This acid is what? Carbonic acid. Hope it is clear. Then next, these are the two questions you can take as a homework and tell me in the comment box. A solution of acetic acid in rainwater is highly concentrated. Can we call it as strong acid? Solution of acetic acid. Yes, already we discussed about acetic acid. Can we call it as strong acid? Read the question once again. Which is highly concentrated. Can we call it as strong acid? See, I told you different things. Weak acid, strong acid. Concentrated acid, dilute acid. These are different terms we discussed now. So depending upon the understanding level, you can write in the comment box. Next, what are strong and weak acid? Give some examples. Yes. So how can we define them? Depending upon the alpha, degree of dissociation. So we are defining them, strong and weak acids, right? So now give some examples which we discussed in the class. So I am expecting answer for these two questions in the comment box. Okay. So thank you for watching, and if you really having any queries or any difficulties in understanding, write in the comment box, so we will discuss there. And I hope you really enjoyed the session. So if you really enjoyed, please click on the like button and also share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you for watching.